Okay, welcome to the planning board meeting of January 29th, 2026. First item on the agenda tonight is to approve the January 8th draft minutes. Anyone have just comments? I know Gil and I have already commented.
Very minor.
Okay,
Bottom of first page, it's not Pacer software, it's Placer, P-L-A-C-E-R. Placer AI software.
Alright.
Let me see, just give me a minute. Orsted. On the Orsted one, I recused myself. I don't see that.
700 Beach.
Yeah. I recused myself on a couple of things that night.
Okay, so that should be added, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me, Lee,
Yes.
did you recuse on 25 East Broadway?
Yes.
So you recused on three?
Two. Three?
Because 25 East Broadway was on there twice
Oh,
for two different applications?
yes.
So your addition 700 Beaches, then,
Yes.
Is
So
a
there were
third one.
three, I guess. I thought there were only two, but.
thank you.
Okay, that's all I've got.
What do you got?
Yep.
Laura, you good? And Barbara? You had commented? I forget. Had you sent comments in already? No, you didn't have any, okay.
I mean, you guys didn't have any, I don't even know what your comments were.
Mine was in the last version that Cindy sent out, had my comments and Gil's comments.
Okay.
So if you looked at that, that was the latest, which is the one we have here.
Okay.
Can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes from January 8th?
Motion to approve as amended.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next planning board meeting is February 19th, 2026. Cindy, do we have any public hearings on that one? No public hearings, so it'll be all work sessions, just like this meeting.
Yeah, no
Okay.
public hearings.
All right?
How did we go from
Don't ask.
stacked public meetings and applications to nothing?
Which means we're going to get the public hearings all grouped up at one meeting. Okay.
Did you have any update from the meeting you guys had, or?
Oh, the meeting on the policy and procedures?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Do you
want
want me to jump in? Or
Yeah, you start, I'll jump in.
okay, sounds good.
Okay, maybe I won't jump in.
Oh no, it's yeah. But yeah, so we met at that was Friday. Last Friday.
It was the 23rd.
Yes, with our staff here. It was Ray, Jim Burke was there. Gil was over the phone, and we had Haydick Engineering. So Stephen Haydick couldn't make it, but Peter Scully called in and
Right.
filled in. And we wanted to discuss the role of kind of the plan board procedures, but with a big focus about some of the engineering comments we brought up in the past. So what we think, after speaking with Jim, kind of at the end of the discussion, what the recommendation is going forward is that, so for applications of planning board going forward, we want to have at least a way to incorporate formal engineering review. The way we would do that is that, so once the application is submitted to our department, we review it initially for a completeness check to make sure it has enough information. If it's large enough to potentially warrant, at least in our opinion, some kind of engineering review, we would send it to Haydick's group for a quote, basically a cost estimate of how much it would cost for them to review it, what, certain aspects of the project, whatever it would be. We would then, once we get that quote, come before the planning board presenting, more of a truncated staff report and then a recommendation about potential engineering. And that cost estimate will be presented to the board for their formal consideration. So it's something that the village and the administration want to have us kind of emphasize going forward, particularly really in efforts to kind of protection of the village, right? Just so we have more eyes on the application, we have formal engineering consideration. It's ultimately up to the board whether or not, to accept it, the engineering or not. The other thing I would mention is that if the board chooses to accept the engineering quote, that cost would go to the applicant. So the applicant will be fronting the cost, as that's in accordance with the village code, to help support the review. But again, it's so that they can support their application going forward, so.
So, once the engineering group comes up with an estimate, how much they'll cost to go through it, do you go back to the applicant and say, this is how much they wanted, then get a yes or no? Or is there some kind of a cap on the cost?
Yeah, so that's a hard question, because the way we're envisioning is that, like, once we get that quote, we would kind of bring it in front of the board, hopefully with the applicant to make it part of the discussion. So it would be something, because technically the board's supposed to discuss it, but maybe there's ways that you guys could see the quote and truncate certain areas of it, or we only want review in this section, so we can, there's a little leeway there. I think the way I'm hoping it does is it breaks down by different, we have to, I guess, confirm with Hayek how it would come out, but hopefully it breaks it down by certain aspects of the project that they would review, and you can discuss from there. But we would definitely send a copy to the applicant, so they're aware of it in advance of the meeting. If they have any concerns, they can always discuss with us too, just, to keep that open.
How, no slight on Hayek, they're, certainly a reputable firm that's been around for a long time, but how did we land on Hayek? Did they do an RFP and, talk to other firms and?
Are they the on-call consultant with the village right now?
They are. They're kind of they're the on-call. They're currently serving as the village's consultant, and I think because they were for a number of engineering projects, they kind of went to to help support building and planning. I'm not sure, though, explicitly, so I probably have to follow up with the administration to understand.
Yeah, so that
How-
leads into my question, which was, I always thought that the village engineer, that this was taken care of after our look and approval. Then it went, before they got a building permit, I thought that it was reviewed structurally, for all the engineering. I thought that was at building permit level. So I guess I'm confused why it's coming in at not that I wouldn't like it to be part of our review, but I'm confused why this is happening now.
I think sometimes it has to be like a stage proposal, like they'll come in with an initial estimate, and then if you get really involved in terms of like drainage or something, and
Okay.
they recommend totally changing the whole drainage system or something,
Okay.
then they'll say, hey,
We
it could be
can't-
an additional cost.
Okay.
To
And it
review
could
that.
affect the site plan then, is what we're saying.
Yes.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, and
I-
it's based on a preliminary site plan, right, that comes in, so you don't, it's a guess.
Yeah, I guess what engineering are we looking at? Like, are we looking at,
Yeah, so it's really technical stuff, right? Like things like drainage calculations, like grading,
Okay.
things of that nature. It's like we can certainly review, but not to the level an engineer could review.
Right.
It's really just help support us, just because our own staffing constraints and lack of that.
Okay.
It's probably more drainage and grading than anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're likely not to get into structural.
I mean, that would have been nice for a certain uptown project that we know can't have a 2-foot slab, but,
Well, that's the goal going forward.
hypothetically, if that ever happened again, I would actually request a review at that level.
I just, the only thing I wonder about is, so, we have this procedure, and we get an application that has some complexity to it, and we feel strongly that it needs to have outside review, and we get a price quote from Hayek, and the applicant turns around and goes, crazy. How do we manage that? I just wonder.
I
guess
think if they come to us, we kind of try to mediate it and
Right.
say, you know,
Yeah.
hey, look, maybe it's expensive, maybe we can take something out, you know, maybe we can do something on, you know, maybe Gil could do some of the drainage, you know, take that off. But, you know,
I would prefer, I think Gil, I'm glad that he reviewed the other things. But I think it's just part of our process. I mean,
No, I know.
you just have
I'm
to
just
accept
wondering,
that,
how it all goes down. It's almost like you kind of shove
But-
it down their throat, and maybe
Yeah.
there's just
I
no
think-
choice. But I'm just talking it out.
I think other municipalities do this though.
They
Oh,
And in
yeah.
the past,
Oh,
we've,
yeah.
They do.
we've had this, we've done this. I think
yeah.
it's just part of,
They do.
Mo-
if you want
most
to
of them
develop
do it, I
here,
think.
it's kind of part of the plan.
Smaller municipalities definitely do it,
Yeah.
and
But-
Even big ones.
Even big ones.
Yeah.
you know,
Do
town-
they have
Yes.
I'm sorry, do they have engineers in-house?
No,
The other
smaller municipalities
municipalities
contract with,
with-
Generally.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the thing is like, so like, as you know, we've used other engineering groups in the past couple of years, but that was coming from our own budget and our own, we were leveraging that cost, and that technically,
Yeah.
right, goes down to the taxpayers for overall development going on. So that was the concern, really. That's where it came from the administration, for both, kind of, A, just making sure we have a more thorough review going forward, and B, that the cost isn't getting burdened on everyone. It's more about the person proposing the,
Yeah.
Right, and the whole gist of this is to save time with applications, right? Get
Exactly.
them moving and not wait for the estimate in the middle of the review, and then it
Okay.
takes a while, and then they have to get on board, so this way they see the plan early, and they say, oh, yeah, we're gonna have to look at this, we're gonna have to look at, a deep recharge basin or something like that. Yeah, so it's all geared to moving the process along more quickly.
Okay.
Right.
So you want to talk about other things on at the meeting, or? I have a
Yeah,
couple
I guess a few more things just to add to the process. I know we've kind of mentioned in the past too, like we've talked about that completeness procedure. So one of the things we want to work on and eventually want to get the board's input on is kind of like before, because in the past we've had applications where they've submitted, we kind of presumptively like, we'll try to schedule them as soon as we can. The problem is, right, you guys were seeing applications that were potentially incomplete before you. There's a lot of comments being like, hey, you have to address all these issues. We're writing a lot in our staff reports about it, being like, here's everything that's incomplete. Our goal is we want to have it so that some of those items are reviewed up front. So they submit their application, staff will have about 2 weeks, we're thinking, to do a completeness check, and we'll notify the applicants in advance, hey, you still need all this information before you go before the board. So like, it's a lot more upfront, but it's hopefully to save you guys more time, so you're not seeing the same inconsistencies and completeness. I think where we want input from both the board eventually and also council is about that level of what's a complete versus incomplete application. Like, what are the minimum things that we should be asking for, but then also like what are things that maybe can come later in the process. So that's something we want to just to try to help make things a little more consistent, a little smoother going forward. And
Yeah.
and I guess other staff updates. You want me to? They'll.
Well,
Oh, go
A
ahead.
couple more things on the meeting was, I guess there was a discussion about the steep slope ordinance. We don't have one.
Yes.
And I think this has been going on for years, because staff gets busy and then they have to take time doing other things. But we're almost at the point now, right? Staff is, Josephine Castelli is reviewing the draft steep slope ordinance, which was based on other municipalities. It was
Yes.
kind of a consensus, let's look at other municipalities and try to take what's appropriate for this village.
And
You
we
were
spoke.
gonna say something, weren't you?
Oh, no, I was gonna say just an update too. We spoke with the administration earlier this week, and the most recent status of that is that it's gone from Josephine now. Now it's actually gone to the Conservation Advisory Council,
Oh, good.
who also includes the erosion or the
Yeah.
Citizens Advisory Council of Erosion. If I'm saying that right, I forget the technical.
It's not the conservation.
Well, it's a subset of the CAC. It includes
Yeah.
like I guess they're almost like the erosion
Yeah, I don't know,
control
I don't know. Yeah,
committee,
what
but
the-
they.
Probably.
But there's some more technical, because of their technical expertise, we wanted to get their input on it, their recommendations, and hopefully from there, I think that's what will kind of start coming back and get towards the process to, hopefully adoption soon, but that's where,
Yeah.
well, I guess most recently it was advised of where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the gist of the meeting, so
Yeah.
kind of summarizes it. Okay, should we? You want
I
to
don't
move on to the first item?
Yeah, I just.
99 Pine Hill Road, tree clearing and grading?
Did you have anything else?
Or you
Yeah, I
had
have-
something
oh.
else?
No,
on
there's one more
staff?
thing.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to, I don't know if you want me to bring up the Boulder Court application. I just wanted to notify. So you guys remember
Update
85
on
Boulder
it?
Court?
Yeah,
It's just a quick update, but, so we approved that tree clearing and grading application recently to clear the roadway. Were notified over one of the weekends and went there and, the property was cleared beyond the roadway. So,
So I looked at it, driving, I'm like,
Darn it.
we're just bringing this forward because, A, the code tells us to bring clearing forward, but also just because of, there's been public awareness of it now, and it's,
Oh, yeah.
and a lot of comments, questions about it, calling us. So they do have a stop work order. They also have, I believe, a ticket, and I think they're gonna be, going forward later this month. But that's something that I just,
okay. Well, it's their own doing.
yeah. And I
So
don't-
what does that mean for us? Do we have to look at the whole site plan again with all the clearing that they did? Like, how does that?
Yeah, well, so that's the thing, right? Because I know next we have to do, the next step was this, right? Get the DEC jurisdictional assessment, have them come back, and then we would review the part 2 and part 3, make that
Right.
determination of its completeness. I don't know if the board, as part of that, wants to require revegetation.
Possibly.
Yeah,
That's-
and is the DEC going to get involved? Like, did they go past?
Yeah, so we haven't
The-
received anything from the
and they
DEC.
were warned that a DEC violation could be tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's surprising that DC hasn't gotten there yet. It's been a while.
It's been, and I will say they also did your recommendations. They went out, they had someone flag it. I forgot what company did it, but their companies found no wetlands on the site or within proximity of it.
Right.
We were notified of that before everything occurred. So again, and I understand from there that they did submit that to the DEC, but I guess we haven't heard much from them.
DEC
So-
has to bless it, though.
It
I mean,
does, of
yeah.
course.
If their consultant determines the wetlands, DEC has to come down, look at the stakes and say, yeah, you're good. Or maybe you're not good, or maybe move this over a little, we don't know.
So the stop work order.
Yes, so they're not allowed to do
Yeah.
anything further.
And I think we should wait until DEC weighs in. I mean,
Oh,
because
yeah,
if we keep going and they
Oh, we
keep
can't.
going.
We can't go
We're
further.
at a standstill until that.
Well,
Okay.
And they're running out of time with the,
The timing,
well,
but
the tree
that's why they
clearing
did
permit
it.
doesn't matter
Well,
anymore.
now it's,
With the bats. It's-
yeah,
Right.
it's until March.
It's a moot point. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah.
It's disappointing.
I know. Yeah, I feel bad bringing it up. I just, we're just doing our due
When-
diligence.
when-
Percentage-wise, how much do you think they went?
So I don't think
beyond?
they're over. I don't know if we have pictures. We do have pictures of it. I don't think they're over what was like proposed as part of the application. Like I remember they had 60% clearing. I don't even know if they're fully at that, but there is definitely like, they might be able to see if they can pull it up. But there's definitely clearing on the residential parcel it's based on the village code too. Clearing doesn't just include trees; it also includes natural vegetation. It includes basically anything that was naturally occurring on the site. Because that's something we wanted to double check. Like if it was just trees, there weren't many really in that area. Maybe it's in there.
I don't see anything from this month in there.
Maybe they weren't up. I guess you can show the permit too. I guess what was approved.
Oh, I thought you had pictures.
We did.
of-
We do. I just think maybe they're with the violation, but that's the actual permit we issued. So we were very.
So can you show us where they actually cleared?
Just
Yeah,
roughly, what
I
they
mean,
did.
roughly going onto the site, it looks like to about. This is pretty. I don't know if they got the full side here, but that whole front portion of the property is pretty. There's a giant. I don't have a picture of it. There's one of those. Not a bulldozer, but a.
So basically cleared in the letters where it says no clearing permitted on this parcel. That's about the limit of it probably,
Yeah,
ironically.
but those trees there are removed. The ones that are indicated there.
Okay. On the north end, but south of the green, but north of the.
South of the green, but north of. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not the full 60%, I don't believe, but it is, enough where we were concerned.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess we have to wait now, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, I know council's coming too, so I don't know, if Jim Burke will be here a little later too, so I don't know if you want to, I was hoping he would be here when I brought this up, but,
Oh, okay. Maybe he can update it if he heard anything.
yeah.
Okay. We'll move on to 99 Pine Hill Road. Tree clearing and grading. It's first resolution that's on the agenda for tonight.
So I didn't see any of the plans. Did we get those?
I think the last meeting they were included, but we could, you want to pull them up, Parker, essentially? Oh, right behind.
Oh, yeah, this one, right.
Wait, so we looked at this last meeting. Why didn't we?
Looked at it and now we have a resolution.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Thank
exactly.
you.
So it was already,
Thank you. That's all I needed.
sorry, should have made that clear. So this one's just the green text is what's new. Everything else is the original resolution.
Wait. This is, okay, so here's the first page.
Mhm.
There. And then
That's it. So all this is new.
why wouldn't all those whereases go back here?
Typically, yeah, but the way it was done in the past in this, like Conifer had this, for example, where they do an amendment at the end of it, which basically follows up on everything before it.
Okay.
And then you'll see there's a new at the bottom now, therefore it be resolves
Oh,
again.
okay.
And yeah, it's a,
Okay.
yeah, it was interesting.
Okay.
It's not how I did it in other places, but.
Oh, okay. So all the conditions are the conditions on this approval are actually the ones from 2024.
Yes, with the exception that the clearing limit one is now resolved.
Okay.
And so is this there, so the whereas that talks, whereas on October 9th, 2025 and January 8th, 2026, blah, 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 including a final as-built survey and engineer's certification and a revised landscaping site plan for vegetation. That's this.
Yes, that's the landscaping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So just,
Okay.
but Ray signs it before all that, so it doesn't matter that it, sorry, I'm stuck on the order of things. It's okay.
Okay. All right.
Oh, okay. Any comments?
We can
No,
move it
okay.
around where it's.
Doesn't matter.
Can I get a motion to approve the amended January 29, 2026 resolution?
Make a motion?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next up, 31 Pilgrim Drive, the site development plan, which also has a draft resolution. This is a retaining wall built without site plan approval, got an emergency permit, public hearing was closed in December, and the variances were approved. Okay.
Been kicking around for a while.
This one, yeah. Yeah, my only thing with this one is I just wanted to ask what your guys' input on the conditions of approval, because there wasn't many, because it's kind of an as-built retaining wall. But if there's anything you want to add beyond what's there, we can certainly do that.
I can't think of anything else. On the bottom of page 1, 2, 3, bottom of page 4, there's last line, there's finding, and then there's 3 dots.
Oh, crap. Okay, we can take that out. Oh,
Bottom of page 4.
Bottom of page 4, last line, there's 3 dots at the end. 4 dots. Like, something should follow that.
actually, probably could end it right there, too.
Yeah.
Just, that's,
And you take out the word finding
yes,
and just put a period after impacts.
got it.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Anybody else have any comments? No? No?
I have a question.
Mhm.
Why did this go to the Architectural Review Board, Committee?
Went to the ARC?
Yeah. Third page, second paragraph
yeah.
from the bottom. It's
Ooh.
just so strange.
Yeah, I think well, I was newer to the village, so maybe. I think we recommended it because the visibility of oh, Cindy, you have the.
No, I was gonna say, we could pull it up, we could pull up the RC's comments if you want.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think we recommended it initially. Just we were trying to be safe as part of seeker. We always include potential considerations. I know they had the same question when they actually reviewed it, and I was like, I think
Oh.
because of the
okay.
visibility.
We're talking about a retaining wall, right?
Exactly,
And,
yeah,
you
so
know, I
it's-
mean, what are they gonna say, it's, well, they could, I take that back.
True.
They could have a lot of
Yeah.
comments, but I'm just surprised that they were included.
Yeah. That's on me. Yeah, I'll admit that was.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, can I get a motion to grant approval of the site development plan in the resolution as amended tonight?
Also motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, now moving on to 340 East Broadway. You should probably come up.
Ray, can I sit at the,
We may have a question
You may have a question.
for Dan, yeah. You can probably stay there, I think, yeah. You got a mic, right? Yeah, okay.
Someone said they had a question for Dan.
I have a question. Later, though.
Oh,
or
okay, I thought
after
you were
we get
about
into-
to ask.
No, no.
Can we see the plans?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, there you go.
again, if at all possible, if we could get these
I-
electronically ahead of time, I'd really appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I will.
I
Wha-
did send this electronically, but it was today.
Oh, okay, I missed it, sorry.
and aren't we supposed to get everything 2 weeks before? I thought.
They get it 2 weeks before.
We need
Staff.
Staff gets it 2 weeks before. Our goal is for you guys a
Let me
week
see if I
before,
can-
but we're catching up still. So we're getting there, but
Yeah.
one day. That's the goal. It's a week
Okay.
before, so we'll.
So this was
Work on-
a subdivision we had last year, right?
Very
Well,
recently,
actually,
yeah.
you separated the house that was considered merged. They were on separate tax lots that,
Right.
good on the 1981 map, even for health. And that was all done and completed. And now, Michael Strauss, by the way, 907 Main Street, Port Jefferson. I'm actually the owner. And I'm sure you can see it's for a 4-lot conforming subdivision in the RB2. Mr. Dan Gross, I'm sorry, Mr.
It's
Gross,
okay.
did a very good detailed report on it. If you have any questions, I mean, just for the health department, by the way, it doesn't quite have enough area for health, so we're gonna be incorporating .94 Pine Barrens credits to meet the 20,000 per lot yield for health. The RB2 is 15,000 a lot and has the 100 feet at the setback line and all that, and all the houses are proposed conforming. 2 will front on Thompson Street, 2 on East Broadway. There's just an old garage there which will end up being demolished. Each will have their own driveway into the lot from the roads. The roads exist. The water exists on both sides. Obviously, when we're going to move towards a formal approval hearing, we would give you more detail, and my engineer surveyor can speak directly to Dan in terms of grading, in terms of drainage and everything else. And of course, we're going to meet all your requirements in the code with respect to all that. And, hopefully putting 4 market value conforming houses, 4 homes there on the tax rolls for the school district, even some kids most likely into the school district is probably something that is a good thing these days for Port Jefferson. And really, if you have any other questions at this point, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
So, because you don't meet the 20,000 square foot requirement for the health department,
Right.
you can offer Pine Barrens
Yes.
credits to offset that? Now, do
Yes.
they have a review
Oh,
coming up
yeah.
of that to see
Yeah,
if that's
we've put in
appropriate?
our-
Sorry, what was yours? Can you just repeat your question?
Yes. Each of these lots is 15,000 square foot or more to meet village code requirements. Health department says they need to be 20,000 square feet. However, if you donate, or probably not the right word,
Incorporate, right?
incorporate Pine Barrens credit, which means it's a property that you own that's in the
Well,
Pine Barrens?
Actually, no, the
Or
Pine
adjacent
Barrens
to?
credits, which started about 30 years ago, there was a whole area in the water protection area in the aquifer in the middle of the island, mostly out towards Manorville, that was preserved. And because they essentially were not allowing people to develop their property, they issued Pine Barrens credits, 1 credit per unit that they had per zoning way, way back. And so the idea was to use those credits to, instead of developing there, they would allow more development elsewhere. And we have our application into health. It technically has to go to board of review, but it's a pretty routine thing. If you use a trade parcel where you're sterilizing a different parcel, that's all case by case, and they have to look
Okay.
at that parcel. But Pine Barrens credits are pretty routine, and it's slightly less than 20,000 square feet short in terms of the area, and the math comes out to .94 Pine Barrens credit.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just catching up. So why does Suffolk County make it 20? Why do they have that limit level?
It's
So it's
probably-
they don't want clearing. It's not that
No, no.
they
It's-
don't
it's-
think that the soil can handle the waste. I'm confused.
It's about the ground, so,
It's about this,
The sol-
cesspool systems,
Right,
or
right.
exactly.
Yeah. wastewater management, right?
Yeah, there's certain groundwater management zones. So a
Okay.
lot of Port Jefferson is what's called Zone 8. So there's one that are more restrictive, like Zone 5, for example, which is out east. I think there's a higher.
Well, the main middle part of the island is you go south of, like, the main roads here, 25A and so forth, and then, and north of, right, and also north of, like, Montauk Highway. That middle portion actually requires 40,000 square feet because they think that's more sensitive for a lot of the town and the county.
Okay.
But this area is 20,000 per lot. And actually, because in the last several years now they require IA septic systems,
Right.
the impact of this for 4 homes would actually be less anyway on just from, you don't take my word, an engineer would
Right.
tell you, sanitary engineer will have less impact on this area than 5 years ago if someone built it with regular septic system for
Right.
3 lots.
Okay.
Because the IA system is much more highly engineered, low nitrogen and all that, but
Okay.
that's kind of above my pay grade at that point for
Okay.
some of those details, but, and it's actually a pretty routine thing, because the idea is, instead of developing that sensitive area, they, throughout the town and the county, there can be an extra unit somewhere else, and
Okay.
it's a fairly routine thing to do it, actually.
Ray, if I may, I have a question on the lot width. Lot widths are required to be 100 feet. Am I reading this correctly, that each of these lot widths are slightly less than 100 feet?
So,
And if so, will you need a variance?
we don't. It's, section 250-9 of the village code says that the average distance between the side lot lines taken at the front yard setback or setback line measured at right angles to the side lot lines or along a line parallel to the street line. That's where you have to meet the 100 feet. And if you take a look, we looked at this very carefully, and I think, I'm going to assume, I don't want to put words in your mouth, that
We're looking at
Dan,
it together, too.
that
Okay,
Dan looked
yeah.
at it carefully.
What number was it?
And-
250?
It's 250.
And so you can see how,
9, it's the
at the
definition.
setback line along the line parallel, you have 100 feet for each of the lots on East Broadway right here. It's easier to see on this map, even though the frontage is slightly less. And by the way, the frontage is only 1.5 feet per lot short, but exactly per the word of the code, with this line parallel to it at the setback line is 100 feet for each lot. So, I think it's actually pretty clear, I think, the way it's written, right? That's
So
part
do
of the
you
code.
agree with that?
Yeah, we-
This is the first time, so I didn't
No, I
get a
under-
chance, I didn't
Oh,
see
no,
the
no, I fully
drawings.
understand.
Yeah, based on the definitions of the code, we measure it the same way from the actual setback of the building. The building setback from the front yard is where lot width is typically measured from.
So this is preliminary, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
are we gonna have to have a public hearing?
Yeah, so
yeah.
the way this
And-
works is
Okay, and maybe a traffic study? Like
No,
with
not
the
enough
new
traffic.
driveways?
I do have a concern about
Not,
it.
I know.
not
Yeah, the
traffic
driveway.
study, I meant more of a harder look on, are the driveways going to be a hindrance or a harm to the area? I just noticed on, especially Thompson Street, might be an issue, where the other driveways are located across the street, that kind of thing.
It's that maybe, but in addition, Thompson has a curve there.
Right,
So
like,
it's in a little tricky spot. It would be better if those 2 driveways on Thompson could be combined into one with
We-
access to both lots.
We would, anything like that you think makes more sense as of planning is not a problem at all.
I just haven't, we need to look at it.
How's the grade over here?
So it's really pretty flat over here on East Broadway. There's a tiny little dip initially off Thompson. Yeah, but there's a tiny little dip off Thompson,
Thompson,
but I don't
yeah.
think anything, no, I don't think anything too major.
I live right around the corner, and there are driveways like this every, 200 feet.
We did this recent subdivision. Is this both pieces or just the
No.
one that we split off?
So you split it off from the house that was over
I
here.
see.
That was kind of an identical lot to this. And it was evidently only done because they were in the same name, so it was required to be separated, even though they were separate tax lots on the 81 map going way back. And if they just happened to not be in the same name, I guess it wouldn't have even been an issue, but
yeah.
So then I
Yeah.
guess we didn't restrict further
No.
subdivision.
not at all.
Okay, Dan, I see in your report, you note that you need clearing limits on the
Yeah,
site.
typically, because I think my understanding is it's pretty much fully, but with the exception of the garage that's there. It's very, right, it's pretty much fully
Except, yeah,
vegetated.
just the one area, yeah, it's pretty vegetated. and
Yeah.
What would be the clearing limits on this, like 60% or something?
I
on
believe
that
so.
site?
I gotta look at the code. I think it's 60%, because coverage is 20%, which I think it indicated somewhere.
It's
Or-
building coverage?
Yeah, building coverage is maximum of
20%.
20%, and then clearing, I think RB2 is, it's based on the lot size, so I believe it is 60%.
Mhm.
When
And-
did you acquire this property?
Oh, probably closed on it last fall, late summer, early fall. By the way, with, if you determine that it makes the most sense, for instance, on Thompson, to combine the driveways, I would guess on something like this, that it would look kind of like one driveway, but you'd actually have someone maybe with 15 feet on their side and 15 on the other, so you wouldn't have to do it with a common driveway easement, so they'd have enough. But it would be one driveway up the
Yeah, you
middle,
need
so they
the-
would.
But right now, we're not here for site plan, we're
Oh,
here
no.
for just the lot.
I'm just
subdivision.
saying, you know, anything like, it just would happen to probably make more sense like that, but
Well, I personally think that neighbor-wise, having a combined driveway is not a good idea. Because you always get a neighbor who has somebody who comes in and parks incorrectly and it causes problems.
It doesn't plow. and-
Doesn't
yeah,
plow.
You know.
I'm not a fan either.
anything like that, whatever you think makes the most sense is totally fine.
Yeah, I think we'd like to look at sight distance
Mhm.
from the driveway along the road, how far can you see? That would be a good, if you could actually indicate that or get that information. Somebody pulling out of the driveway, how far in each direction could they see up the road?
Oh, can I ask you a quick question, because I've seen it both ways on this? Is this considered a minor subdivision?
So
Or,
this is actually, so that's actually part of tonight's discussion, is technically the way it's defined, it would be major because it's 4 or more lots. So that's the way the definitions work in the village, is that would be a
Mhm.
major subdivision. That's what we were recommending as staff.
Right.
I understand from the code, and I don't have it on the top of my head, that like, so major subdivision actually has a lot more requirements for submission wise than a minor subdivision. But the board may not have to require all the
Okay.
certain aspects of the major subdivision. It specifies it in the code, so that's something we have to look more thoroughly in going forward. But not all aspects would be required, and that's something I think that staff would look into as this goes along. Because this is technically the first review of it, the way the code reads is that, I think it's section 7, I think 227. It talks about it's initial sketch plan review, where the board's tasked with classifying the subdivision as major or minor, can't speak, and then technically going through the actual configuration of it and any comments about the lot lines, the building envelopes, that kind of preliminary discussion would come up here. There are requirements for sketch plans, like including certain aspects of it, which again, everything was actually based on a review was submitted. The only thing was just the clearing we mentioned, is that we just want to see the existing clearing limits and then also proposed, right, and making sure it conforms to the village code requirements. But that's kind of discussion. So like things like driveway access, things of that nature, as Dan indicated, would be kind of as it goes on for once that classification is done and it's major or minor. We would expect the next submission to have a lot of those details about going forward.
I'd probably have my surveyor engineer call you and go through everything, you know, that he needs, so he can show it all.
Yeah.
You know, rather than try to translate it, but.
Yes, it's
um,
because a lot of stuff. That's why I'm like,
Yeah,
I
oh,
don't
yeah,
know. The,
and he'll put on everything that you would ever want and need on it, obviously. No problem whatsoever.
And then how much of a voice do neighbors get? Like if people come in and they get,
Public hearing?
yeah, there's
yeah,
a-
but if it's as of right,
No, I mean, they get a voice. It's,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah.
I've heard plenty of comments at plenty of as-of-right proposals in my time.
But, yeah, okay.
Mr. Strauss, did you
Sure.
mention the style of houses?
They're going to be probably fairly traditional variations of a colonial style
Two-story?
kind of house. Yeah, 2-story. You know, mostly like 4-bedroom, some 5-bedroom houses that you see kind of all over the place. They all have the general kitchen, great room, that, you know, a lot of times a little front entry, covered porch, and they're fair, you know, probably, whether there'll be some with shingles or some with, you know, siding, and pretty traditional, I would think. By the way, is there just one hearing, or is there preliminary and a final, the way you do it?
double check. I think there's preliminary and final, or no? What do you think? It's just final?
I don't think there's more than one hearing on a project that we've ever had.
Okay.
I mean,
Well-
other than the fact if we adjourn it or, you know, or continue it
Right,
at the
no,
next
I know.
meeting or, you know.
It's not a big deal.
I
I'm
don't
just more
think there's
curious.
individual, I could be wrong, but I.
Yeah, I'd
don't
have to
think
look
so.
in the.
Is there natural gas access or will it be oil?
I think there's natural gas, but I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. I'm not
Because,
sure I remember.
you know, the digging up of streets and just curious, you know, what kind of heating?
I will get you that answer. I'm not, off the top of my head, I don't remember 100%, so I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. Sometimes it's even on here.
And
Let's
there's
see.
no, is there a moratorium on that still or no?
Gas?
Natural gas? I think they took it off.
I think they extended that all out a year and stuff, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was getting held up and then.
Well, yeah, they have a gas mark out here on East Broadway. So there appears to be gas on East Broadway. And I don't see the same note on Thompson, but I will find out for you for sure.
All right. Any other comments, questions?
I guess the last thing I would add is just about SECR. So
Mhm.
technically, this is an unlisted action for SECR.
Okay.
So they did submit a short environmental assessment form for it, which is actually, you can do either one, short or full. And I don't think this warrants a full environmental, given the area, and there's not a super amount of like environmentally sensitive areas designated, but unless the board thinks otherwise.
Major subdivision doesn't kick in.
It's based on the number of lots, and I think because it's only 4, I forgot I don't know the threshold off the top of my head, but it was much more substantial to be a type 1 action. But the board could.
Question, has this area, it's never been developed before, right? So this land, other than the current shed,
I
has
think
never
there
been
was a
disturbed.
house there a long time
Yes.
ago.
There was one that was built
Right.
before the corporation of the village, and it was demolished in '98. So, but they left the one frame garage for some reason,
Okay.
so there was a house there.
So there's no archaeological sensitive concerns, and probably because it's
No, and
been
there was nothing
disturbed.
identified in, that we looked at the cultural resource information system, and there was nothing identified for it.
So there really isn't much slope there, huh?
Just, you know, as I said, off Thompson, there's a little bit of a dip, but
Right.
nothing crazy. And from East Broadway, it's pretty flat. And then where you'd be building off Thompson is very flat. And, you know, no,
So all the slope is
Not-
more that way, because there's.
I mean, not, to be honest, not nearly what you see in so many different parcels in the village. I mean, it's, as the village goes, it's in probably the
Okay.
flatter
Thank you.
quarter of it, I'm gonna guess, but,
All right.
you know. And, you know, whatever needs to be done, if there's a little wall here or there, or whatever, you know, 1 or 2 or whatever needs to be done, will be done, obviously, appropriately.
Yeah, the frontage on Thompson was, I think, the only concern we had. We were initially looking at it, just making sure if there is a driveway proposed to avoid it as any steeper slopes as much as.
I'm just curious, will these be the smallest lots up there?
So
I'm
there's
just
2 that
looking
are-
to see, are they comparable to the 2 on the east?
Actually, Parker, you want to click on them? I believe they're 0.37 acres.
And these are,
We'll pull up the
These
map.
are pretty much third acres, maybe .31.
Yeah, a little
did the
less.
math, something like that.
I'm just thinking like is it
Consistent.
not consistent or is it consistent with
It's-
what's already there?
I mean, there are some on half-acre lots, houses, you know, but there's also ones that, if I recall from looking at the tax map, that are pretty similar, but, you know, it's all, the whole thing is zoned, so we're not asking for any variances.
Okay.
I mean, look, I know this could sound self-serving, but honestly, I'm sure, and if you drive it and take a look yourself, I think it's gonna fit right into the area on the existing roads with the houses. You know, it's easy, you can drive by, see it on East Broadway, make the turn and right in front of Thompson, it's pretty easy to see. It's kinda like just in the flow of what's around, I would think.
All right.
But that's just, you know, I know that sounds self-serving, but I've lived here, by the way, since 1964, so
Yeah.
have a vague sense of it. You've lived here for a little while too, I think.
Okay.
Got your beat.
Yeah, I'm sure you've been here too.
Any other questions? No? Okay.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Mr. Travis.
Stay warm,
Yeah.
which you don't normally have to say, but last couple of
Well,
days, a little colder than it's been.
Pretty crazy.
Did you want to ask Jim about, there's something on the procedures that we wanted to talk to Jim about if he got here?
Oh, it was Boulder. we
Oh,
mentioned.
Boulder. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I don't know if you
Right.
wanna.
Good night.
Hey, it was great seeing you.
Jim, you want to come up?
Mike just took the chair.
Take his chair.
Yeah. You take mine.
We just had a status update earlier on 85 Boulder Court.
Yeah.
Still nothing back from the DEC, and there was some clearing on the property,
Yeah,
so,
overcleared apparently.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you had,
You got some power over them. Let's look at the CO. and-
So I think we were
Appreciate it.
proposing to wait until the DEC weighed in before we looked at the application again.
well, they have a stop work order on there, too.
Because of the overclearing.
Yes.
We were waiting for that. That's where we were before he overcleared anyway. We were,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We still hadn't heard from the
DEC,
DEC, yeah.
you know, we're in the same spot.
That's amazing that it's been this long, DEC.
Yeah.
I
I'm
mean, I know they only look at applications, what, 2 days a week or something? Or you could only go in there 2 days a week?
2 days a
and
week
talk to
they're
them?
open. Yeah, it's Wednesdays and Fridays, I believe, are the days.
It's probably, it's a
Who,
good.
do you know who you're dealing with or anything? Or do you?
I don't. I know Josephine's been talking with them. Recently, especially after it happened, once we were out there, I know she's followed up with them.
The question is
I don't know
whether
who.
there's any regulated wetlands in there.
Yeah, because they have one that's historically been mapped basically in the southern portion of that property. It was probably, well, I forgot when the DC did their initial mapping, but long
Yeah.
70s, 80s, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
So
Probably in the 70s.
it's because of that, the DC wrote letters saying, as part of the secret coordinated review, they said they had no objections to lead agency, but they did request more information to make a DC jurisdictional assessment because they were, again, they said it could be adjacent to or within areas that, there you go, that they would, regulate. You might require, what is it called, freshwater wetlands permit. So that's what we held them off. The board allowed clearing within the roadway because it's over 100, I think it's over 150 feet away from the wetlands itself. So, and there wasn't as much proposed as compared to residential lot, but they said the approval didn't allow any in the residential lot. But since then, there's been clearing and.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's,
And the applicant marked,
unfortunately it happens.
the applicant marked out the wetlands, got his own,
Yes.
They flagged it,
yeah.
yeah.
But DEC just hasn't
Hasn't been.
ruled, haven't been out to confirm it, that's what you need.
Is there actually wetlands on the property? On this? On the,
When they flagged it, they found nothing.
Yeah,
They found them.
yeah,
I think there were.
right.
There's a lot of, there's a
do you know who
good
flagged it?
elevation there, isn't there?
Yeah.
It is, it
It's-
is.
it's,
It goes up, yeah.
If you visit it, yeah, it's pretty
There's
clear.
the pond across the street, right, that we all know about, the
Yeah.
salt
Yeah.
balls that would go in there.
Probably nothing. But
Probably nothing, yeah, I would probably agree with
Right.
that, but, I mean, I can, send me the information, I'll talk to you tomorrow, maybe, I can
Okay.
try to reach out to who I know over there and see if I can.
But ultimately,
Long.
if the DEC
You gotta wait till the
disagrees,
snow to melt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, I'll just see if there's
Like,
any real concern from the DEC on this.
I mean, ultimately, if the DEC disagrees with the applicant, it's the applicant's problem, not,
Yeah.
or is it us because we did assume?
No, it's the applicant's
No.
problem.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they'd have
Not
to,
a problem.
yeah,
We're not
right,
on
if
the hook.
DEC's taking a position,
We
then
have-
they have to address that, you know.
We held them off. We said we want to
Okay.
hear from the DEC, so we're waiting.
Now they got a stop work order on top of it.
What do they got, the RMS, who's their engineer? They got a good engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it's R&M.
R&M.
R&M,
Yeah,
yeah,
R&M's
they got a
good.
good, that's a good, they're a good firm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all right,
Okay,
that's all I got.
thank you.
So we've got,
That's actually might be all we have for tonight.
That's all right. with me.
Yeah.
I
Unless
gotta go.
anybody has any other business.
My daughter's gonna take me out to dinner for my birthday, so.
Hey, happy
Ah,
birthday.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice of
you
you to
and
stop by on your
another
birthday.
friend of mine.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There are a few people I know that's
Yeah.
birthdays today, too. Yeah. One of my attorneys, a younger guy that I hired about 5, 6 years ago. And I'm like, wait a minute, if I knew you know, he was the same birthday as me. I wouldn't, you know, I don't share my birthday in my office. Yeah.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
And on that
I'll
note-
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned. Mike's
All right, well, at least we got an hour in that maybe